Chinese language, it's even more complicated.
That's right.
You know, because we started out with this wage-aisle system, which was very difficult and confusing, I think, for a lot of people. And then a lot of different systems developed. Pinyin was one, but there were others. Yale developed a system. I don't know if you've seen that one, called Yale System. And when I first went to Taiwan and began some language study with the school there called the Taipei Language Institute, the Romanization system that they used was the Yale system. And what was, as an American, what was appealing about the Yale system was it was based on American English sounds and how to represent them alphabetically and get as close, you never could get exactly, you know, right, the Chinese sound the way you would if you were approaching it through but for Americans it was a very good system. And then along comes Pinyin. Over the years, it's like a steamboat, and everything else is just sort of crushed out of the way. And that point came home to me very vividly. It's now been a couple of decades ago, when I realized that even Yale universities no longer use the Yale system. They use Pinyin. So, for people like me who came along and were not fluent Chinese speakers in the first place, and were kind of grabbing on to whatever we could, the fact that the system kept changing never made it easy. It's one of my excuses for being as weak in Chinese language as I am. But it's an area of great fascination, and the fact that you've got 114 schools in the Bay Area is very impressive.
The whole United States, about 800 schools.
Congratulations on your good health as well.
Thank you.
That's most important.
Yes.
Okay, well, will be my turn. I will share some background myself. And during the high school, well, I was a second year, so-called a sophomore in high school. I started in the Shida in Taipei. And that year, I actually had a chance to join there's a movie called the Sam Paddle.
Oh yeah, it was made in Taiwan.
Yeah, made in Taiwan.
Steve McQueen.
Yeah, I was one of the players.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was recruited. I think my number is 57. I still keep the car. They tried to hire about 100 people work staff in Taiwan, and 100 people from Fox, company. So 1 to 1. That's for the purpose. So we've been training for about 3 months in the what's the hotel? I forgot anyway. So there's a 3 days in 3 nights in a week. Okay. So one day talk about the structure of the ship, and one day talk about the story of the movie, and then one day we went to visit the film company in Shilin, actually one day to see. So that's how I learned a lot about the movie. And at that time, my first goal was to become a diplomat. That's my first goal. Actually, I took the test. I almost passed every course it's required, to become a diplomat. I look around at that time in Taiwan. I don't have a, good background, so I said, well, forget it. Okay, so I still keep all the past certificate, but I didn't continue with that. And in college, I studied in the Hongjia University, which is the architecture engineering is my major. And then after school, I had a chance to serve in the German company. So I become one of the very few of the project engineer at the time. So there I was responsible for one big project, international project, called the Grand Cyclone in Kaohsiung. I think it was the second one in Taiwan. So I had a chance to learn a lot of experience because my company is a C-Elis, it's a German company. And we had 7 subcontractors from Germany, including the Siemens, okay? And then we had one local company called Zhongyong. Actually, they are the construction company that built up the Hilton Hotel in Taipei, a long time ago. So it's very interesting. Sometimes meetings just like this. We had one side from our customer is the Kaohsiung Harbor Bureau, and all the engineer, and it's lots of them. And the director of the bureau, he is a retired general, 2-star general, who sits right next to me. And then my boss from Germany, okay, sits right next to me because I'm the only interpreter for them. Because the Harbor Bureau, they have their own interpreter, but that's not qualified because they don't get the knowledge for the construction engineering terminology. And from the construction side, we have the 7 subcontractors from Germany, also from the local construction company sit together. It's just almost meeting like this. And we have maybe every other month we have a meeting like this. So that's how I joined to the international event. And after, like Peter said, in Taiwan, everyone had to serve in the military for 2 years, which I did also. And after that, I had a chance to get into the tourist business, and I actually certified as the licensed tourist guide, to host the visitors. At that time, I had a chance to conduct my side job. That's not my full-time job, okay? So I work for a travel company and to act as a tourist guide. So while I talked to the visitor, I told them, it's a new building, a freeway in Taiwan. It's so gorgeous. And then that's how I interpret to the visitor. I really have the poor knowledge about what's outside the world. In 1977, I get a chance to come to the United States. I quit the job. At that time, my salary almost 10 times of my classmate because I work for a German company. So I think to make money is so easy. At that time, I still, single. I had my own car. I had my chauffeur, my driver, so I can get whatever I want. And my classmate only make about 3,000. I make 30,000 at that time. I think it's big money at the time. That's back into 1973, 74. So I say, okay, I would like to go out to see what's that. And the first year I came to the United States in 1977. While I saw all the freeway here, I said, what a shame myself. While I was a tourist guy in Taiwan, I told them, the freeway system in Taiwan is a number. Yeah, it's a joke anyway. So when I come to the United States, I actually learned a lot. The only accomplishment I realized who is Taiwanese. I remember one time Leader Hui asked himself, I don't know who I'm. And being in the United States for so many years, when I first came here, I always defend for the country I came from, Taiwan. I remember one time I had a dinner with the PRC's local ambassador, a consul general at a dinner with him, long time ago. He convinced me that all this no longer exists. I said, how come? I showed him my passport. That's the company the country represented. I come here. That's how the background. But the more I learn, I say, maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. And for so many years, especially 10 years ago, actually, I got an involvement with the political issue back into 1992. I met an old friend. He is, I think he's still alive. He will be 97 or 98 this year. He wrote a book called The Regional Book in English. He is ROC's Air Force. He is so proud of himself because at the age of 35, he was able to attend an international meeting in Europe. And after he returned, he said, a big country but a small citizenship. But a small country is, owner of big citizenship in America. That's what he said. He feels shame of China. He's a Chinese, okay, but he feels shame of China. And the reason he said that, China is totally unorganized. And he say, nation, China should be divided into maybe 10 or at least 9. So the other name of his book called the regionalism, called the 9 China plus 1. That's his term. And his book is in English. He wrote the book and then published in Hong Kong because he is the last one escaped from Nanjing and flew to Hong Kong. He stayed there for maybe 5 years and then he escaped to Argentina. And in 1975 he came to the Bay Area. It happened, I know him in 1992. He gave me the book. I was the only one translated that into Chinese, Mandarin. And I haven't published it. Actually I published, simplified version one time. I published, I passed out, I believe some of them have it. That's from 1992. In 2004, CK and I, we had a chance to host a press conference like what you had yesterday, but we were more important coming at that time. We talked about the San Francisco Peace Treaty, I don't remember, it's in 2004 anyway. So we do a press conference. And in that year, I happened to study a lot of, research a lot of articles. And one of the articles popped out, Taiwan Status. It's a long article, but no author. It took me 1 year to find out who wrote this article. And that article clearly explained to the reader, why the U.S. policy keep consistent in the past 50 or so, since World War II. And we start to wonder, either you're Democrat or you're Republican, the person never changed. So there got to be something for them to follow the principle. And whoever, in a short period, get into the position, they understand the whole situation. Why? And the people in Taiwan, they don't really know who are they. They don't really know themselves. They keep calling themselves Chinese, but really it's not. Okay. So in 2004, I spent tons of time to get into the area, to start. In 2006, we happened to know connection with friends in Taiwan. So they filed a lawsuit. I think I mentioned to you yesterday. So we filed a lawsuit to the Columbia District